Okay, so binding kind of threw me for a loop if you read the manual sequentially, and let me tell you why. There's two modes of this radio, normal and scan. Alright, so as you're coming down here and you read how to bind, and it says how to bind in normal mode, you'll notice that the steps are exactly the same as binding in scan mode. So, I mean, I was playing around with this going, what the heck? How do I... Alright. It wasn't until later when I came over here on how to switch between normal mode, from normal mode to scan mode to normal mode. It all has to do with how you set this pack, RF pack on the back, alright? If you set it to scan mode and you're putting in a new receiver, then it doesn't matter. You can follow both ways to bind, alright? If it's a normal mode, you follow both ways to bind. So, I kind of thought the manual was a little weird on that one, and it took me a while to figure out what the heck was going on. But the bottom line is, what I'm going to do first is I'm going to show you how to bind in normal mode, alright? And then I'm going to show you how to switch between normal and scan mode. Now, I'm not going to get into the benefits of scan mode versus normal, other than one little thing that I don't like about scan mode, and I'll talk about toward the end of the video. But for me, I'm always going to do normal mode. You want to do scan mode? Great. Read what the difference is between normal and scan mode. That'll tell you all about it. Actually, I'm going to talk about it now. My biggest thing with scan mode, with normal mode versus scan mode, is normal mode is if I get a brownout on the receiver, let's say I power down the receiver and power it up, it's never going to sync again. I'm dead. All right. Call it a brownout. Let's say your pack went low and the processor reset for more than a second. In scan mode, it's never going to come back. The only way it comes back is to power your transmitter down, power everything up, scan mode connects. Normal mode, if you lose power to your receiver for some reason, all right, and then turn it back on, in normal mode, the receiver will reconnect to the transmitter, all right? So that is, in my opinion, the biggest difference. And for me, now realizing that I can power the processor with a different battery and everything like I went into, for me, I don't like the idea of scan mode losing power for whatever reason and then not being able to reconnect to the transmitter. That's the biggest difference from my point of view. I'll always use normal mode in my opinion. If you're in a very noisy 2.4 area, maybe scan mode. You like scan mode. I don't know. I'm not going to get into the pros and cons about that. But anyway, I'm going to get into binding, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to bind in normal mode, and then we'll just show you how to switch between normal and scan mode, all right? So with that, I'm going to come right back, and we'll show you how to bind. Okay, so here's how you bind. Now, I do have to tell you, the very, very, very first time I bound any of my receivers, and I went through this on all three of them, the manual says that the blue LED, and it talks about the blue LED on the receiver. The very first time I bound, I never got a blue LED. I got a red LED only, and I'll show you during the bind, but I got a blue blinking LED here, and it talks about the blue LED blinking. I think something's not right there. But brand new receiver that has never been bound, and by the way, I can't seem to unbind a receiver. I've tried to reset it, do everything I can. Once it's bound, it's like it's bound. All right, unless I had another transmitter to bind to, I don't think I'd see a difference. But the very, very, very first time, I never got the blue LED when I held down the button and powered on. I only got red, but yet, I'll show you during the bind process, I knew I was bound because the transmitter blue LED was blinking, and I'll show you that. Every time after that, sometimes I get the blue, sometimes I don't. So I do have to say it's a little inconsistent on what's going on there. I think it depends on how fast you release the button or whatever. Anyway, I won't go into that. I'm just going to show you how to bind at this point. So here's what we do. What you're going to do is you're going to go into the back of the transmitter. Now, I don't care if you're in scan or normal mode at this point. You're going to hold down the button. You're going to power up while holding down the button. All right, you can't see this. And then I'm going to hit yes for transmit. All right, and what you should get at this point is a blinking red LED. All right, it's blinking. Receiver's not on yet, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to hold the button down on the receiver. I'm going to power up. All right, and then I'm going to release. Now, weird. This time I got a red LED, no blue blinking light on the receiver. But on the back of the transmitter, notice the blue blinking LED. That means I'm linked. All right, now watch this. Actually, I'm going to show you the discrepancies I get. I'm going to try this again. See, now I've got the blue LED, and it's kind of like weird flashing and stuff. Maybe high tech can explain to me what the heck's going on here. Let me turn off a little longer. See, it's inconsistent. But I'm just going to tell you, it really doesn't matter at this point. All right, see, now I didn't get the blue LED. The bottom line is I'm blinking in the back. All right? So there we go. At this point, what you want to do, forget what the blue LED on the receiver is doing. I messed with this for a while. It doesn't seem to be consistent. But turn off the transmitter. All right? Turn on the transmitter. Okay, I'm going to say transmit yes. Okay, at this point, I've got a red LED only. I'm going to turn on, and you heard 4 quick beeps. All right, how you know you're linked is it will show the receiver battery pack voltage. You know you're linked. Another way to know you're linked is check it out. The servos move. All right, we got a solid red LED. Now, if I was to turn off the transmitter, turn off the receiver, and turn on the receiver only, you still get a red LED. It's weird. It would be nice if it showed some kind of, hey, I'm not linked kind of thing. Unfortunately, it doesn't. But if I turn on my transmitter and hit yes, all right, you heard 4 real quick beeps. As you can see, my servo's working. I'm linked. All right, it kind of would be nice to see some kind of blinking LED. Again, the manual doesn't really talk about what the LEDs are doing at what time and what's going on. And I got to tell you, after holding buttons down here and holding buttons down here and doing all kinds of weird stuff, I do got to tell you, I've had many different conditions. But the bottom line is, you bind, you get the blue blinking LED, you power everything down, power it back up, servos work, you should be good to go. Hopefully, maybe high tech at some point will kind of explain to me what the difference LEDs do. All right, so that's how you bind. In my next video, I'm going to come back and show you how to switch between normal. By the way, a red LED only is normal. Red LED on the receiver is normal mode. Next, I'm going to talk about going into scan mode. Okay, so going into scan mode. Now, this is super important, and I played with this a little bit. I'm going to show you a screw-up, not by high tech, but a screw-up you can do if you're not careful. If you want to switch between normal and scan mode, they have to be connected. All right? If I power up, all right, and I say transmit yes, I get the red LED. It's transmitting. If I hold this button down in the back for the 6 seconds, hear the long beep? Now, it went into blue scan mode, actually, all right? So you got to be careful here. So if I turn off now, all right, and I turn on, that long beep means there was a problem, all right? We don't know what we got, so I'm going to turn on a receiver. Oops, wait a minute. I'm going to say transmit yes, all right? I'm going to turn on a receiver. It's still connected. All right, so that long beep means I couldn't go into scan mode because I didn't do something right. All right, so I want you to understand that. To switch to scan mode or back to normal mode, you must be connected. All right, you must be. All right, so now that we're connected, I'm going to switch to scan mode. So what you do is you hold the button down for 6 seconds, and you got to listen to the beeps. You're going to hear beep, beep, real 2 quick beeps. Watch. There's 1. There's 2. Notice the blue LED is on, went on solid for a minute, all right, and then it went on solid again, all right. We're not connected right now because the receiver, even though the link told it to go into scan mode, we are not connected. That means you can't hot switch in the field without cycling. So I'm going to turn off the transmitter, turn off the receiver, all right, I'm going to turn on the transmitter, all right, and what you'll see now is we're not connected at all. I'm going to turn on the receiver. Now watch closely. All right, the blue LED is blinking. The receiver got put into scan mode. All right, so while it's... oh, wait a minute. I didn't say transmit yes. Pardon me. So transmit yes. Throttle low. All right, you notice I've got a red and a blue, kind of like when I bound, all right? So I got a red and a blue. Now I'm going to turn on the receiver. You notice the blue LED is blinking. Now I synced real fast. But here is the difference. This is how you know you're in scan mode. red and blue LED are solid, receiver red and blue are solid. We are now in scan mode, and you see I am linked. Okay? So you want to go, let's say, go back to normal mode. Once again, you must make sure you're linked before you do that. So I'm going to hold the button down again. We're going to go through the same process. 1 beep, lights go out. 2 beeps, lights go on solid. All right, and then the blue light goes out. Now I'm in normal mode. You see I have no connection to the receiver. I turn off the receiver. And actually, I wonder if I have to turn off the transmitter. 1 second, let's check. Yes, it's obviously clear I have to turn off the transmitter. All right, so let's turn the transmitter on. Yes, turn on the receiver. 4 beeps, battery indicator showing receiver pack. I have connection. All right, so that's how you go between normal mode and scan mode. All right, so you must do it with the receiver connected. If I was to turn this off, again, as I showed you, and try to make that change, I get a long screaming hum. All right, because it won't let you change unless you're connected to the receiver. So that was the point of showing that. All right, so that's how you switch back and forth. It's pretty straightforward. So again, in the beginning of this, I talked about binding, and the manual talks about binding in normal versus binding in scan, and when you read them, they're identical. I'm not sure why they did this. What they should have said is binding in normal or scan, and depending on where your module on your transmitter set, it's the same process. All right, so and the reason they say that is, let's say I have multiple receivers. Let's say I bound a receiver in scan mode. So every time I power up the transmitter, I'm in scan mode, both LEDs, right? And then I want to bind a brand new receiver. Well, the new receiver doesn't know the difference. When I changed between normal and scan, it didn't know I did. It's a brand new receiver. I follow the same bind procedure, doesn't matter which one, it's the same bind procedure, and it'll put the new receiver in whatever mode the pack's in. All right? Anyway, hope that makes sense. That's how you bind. I do have to say, because of the 2 modes and whatnot, it was a little strange, but once I figured out what was going on, etc., it was pretty cool. Now, one thing I do have to say, man, is prime example. Let me turn this on. Prime example is there are more beeps and other things in this module and on the receiver that you can get into than the manual explains. Prime example, let me link up here real quick. Transmit, yes. All right, we're connected. So remember I held the button down and I got 2 beeps? Well, I don't understand what the 3 beeps is, so watch. There's the initial beep, lights out. There's 2 beeps, goes into scan mode. There's 3 beeps. No clue. All right, so be careful. Don't hold it down too long till you get 3 beeps. I don't know what that does. I played with it a little bit. Maybe I'll figure it out. I think maybe it switches between scan and back to normal. I don't know, but that's the bottom line. There's 2. Oh, that was 4. No clue. So there's some stuff with these modules that have beeps and other stuff that is obviously not documented. I really would like to find out myself, but be careful. Do it to where you hear the 2 beeps. Don't hold it till 3 or 4 or whatever might come up. Same thing with binding here. Don't hold the button until certain LEDs do certain things, because you'll be in different modes. So it'd be nice if High-Tech shared what all the different beeps are so we all understand. But I showed you how to bind and switch between normal and scan. The next video will continue on.